Hey, this is Dave. This is the second video of the Manage Items page help videos. Let's go ahead and click the icon and get into it. So we went over the setup and the structure of the page in the previous video. What we're going to do now is go ahead and go over how to add items to the page, how to delete items, and basically how to add additional items once you have the page set up. And there's a couple of different ways that you can do it. Now, to start off with, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to return to the page itself. And if you remember in the previous video, I told you to always be careful about clicking this delete button because you could accidentally delete your whole account. Well, the cool thing is that's what we're going to do right now, so you can see what happens. So here, I click delete, and all of a sudden everything is gone. Now, if you've gone through our setup and done the full workbook, then as part of it and as part of those instructions, you are led here and you are told to add the items from that workbook, which looks just like this. And here's basically a list of every single thing that this demo pizzeria has for its inventory. And what we can do to get that information into this account is just click Add Items, and we're going to upload the Excel workbook and then go find the file wherever you have it saved. And then Cherry allows you to map that workbook into the software. And basically what you need to do is get it so that you have the header row as your top row, and make sure it's that way before you upload, and then go through and just start matching the columns column for column. And the reason that we actually have you do this step is you can use an outside workbook and do setup work within the software itself. And rather than get too detailed on what I'm talking about with that, I'll actually do another video. Alright, so once everything's done, we go ahead and click Import. And you can see the workbook is now uploaded into Cherry. All the items are present, all the information is in, even the decision for this radio button choice is made in the setup of that workbook. The only thing you need to do now at this point is, if you'd like, go back and add images. And we already talked about how to do that. Setting up your par level, that's a different video. But you can go ahead and go back into the Add New Item screen. And now the next thing that I'm going to show you is how to modify that list. So you've uploaded your worksheet, you have your master inventory, and now you've been using this for a while and you realize you forgot a few things. So let's just say it's one or two items. If it's just one or two items, the easiest thing to do is to click on this option, and it brings up an Add Item page. And this page actually has its own self-help video, so I'll refer you to the videos on this page as to how to add a single item and properly set this up. If I back browser, then I can show you there is another option if you need to add 3 or more new items. The best thing for you to do is to use this option here, the green option. And what it's going to do, it's going to ask you to start putting in the new names of the items. So let's just say it's item 1. Now we've entered the names of the 3 test items for this sample. And then the details that you saw when I briefly showed you the the last entry option when you need to enter 1 or 2 items, you can enter those details in bulk, kind of like you would be doing them in a spreadsheet. So if you need to do 3 or more items, this gets really efficient. So you can see here's the item name, and the first thing that it wants to know is what is the process measuring unit, and let's just pretend for these that they're all similar and that it's count. And if things are the same, you can save yourself time by using this green arrow and just clicking it, and everything beneath this option turns to that option. So if you have a long list of things to add, like say 20 or 30 new things, this really gets awesome as far as making things fast and set up. Do the same thing with your LCU, the common purchasing unit. And we'll go ahead and say for this that it's also count. And we'll copy that down, and then we'll say that the supplier delivers these 3 items by the case. And we'll say that's the same for all 3 as well. And then we're going to click update. And then the next thing that Cherry's going to ask us for is going to be the location, category, and any descriptive information for the new item. So let's say that this is stored in the bread rack, but this is actually stored in the freezer, and this is also stored in the freezer. So you can kind of start to see how the arrows and the fields work together to make product entry very easy. Category, let's just make sure, let's just call them all desserts, and this is, say, brand specific, right? You could say something like Sara Lee if it was a dessert, whatever it is. And once you have all that information, click Save Items. And the last thing that the software wants you to do for the setup of these new items is actually enter in the par level schedule. But as you can see, we also have to enter in the par level schedule for all of the remaining items that we just uploaded, because we haven't done that yet. And being that there is a page help icon on this page, I will refer you to the video at that icon for learning how to work with this par level setup screen. Let's go ahead and return back to the manage items page. I want to show you one last thing. So you can see up here at the top that Cherry is kind of designed to let you know when there's work that needs to be done, and the items need the par levels, and we told you we're going to look at that in the next video. But another thing that Cherry does is it lets you know if there's incomplete data in your setup. So what I mean by that is, watch. Let's pretend that we're going to add 3 new items. And I'll go ahead and put in test names for all 3. So now let's say, all of a sudden we got busy and the restaurant exploded and the world just ended, and you know how things go. You need to stop doing what you're doing right now. And you need to actually, you could even say log out. Okay, so now we just logged out, and now we just went and saved the world. Superman, Wonder Woman, and the Wonder Twins all showed up to help us because we're awesome people. And now we come back and look at on the dashboard, it's starting to tell us that there's incomplete work. And if you remember, all we did was enter in the names. So if we go to the items page, it also is showing us that we left work incomplete. Look at the item units and the details, and you can continue right where you left off on the setup of those 3 new test items by just clicking that first link and coming in and doing the steps that I just showed you in the previous video. So we'll go ahead and return to the dashboard. If you have any questions, as always, there is the icon for contacting us in the bottom right side. Call us. Just get in contact with us. We're here to help you. Have a cherry day.